Well, hello, hello, my beautiful Capricorns. How are you, my gorgeous ones? So, we have a very active sky this month. There are so many planets changing signs. The energy is going to feel very, very different than it has felt. I know a lot of you have had that Saturn in your first house and Pluto we talked about last month. So, I'm not going to go deep into everything because we have so many things I wanted to touch on. But yeah, I'm not going to go deep into everything. So, welcome, welcome, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Cindy. I am the modern day spiritual advisor. I use multiple modalities, including astrology, tarot, mediumship, all kinds of stuff to help you on your path. So, my gorgeous ones, just starting right off the bat on November 1st, and I apologize for my sister's dog. So, before I get started, I want to let you guys know whichever sign is the most viewed video for November. In December, we'll get a full Celtic spread and a full astrological reading where we'll go by the day and the aspects and all of that. So be sure to like, share, subscribe this video to get this out there. So my gorgeous ones, let's talk about the 1st of November. And the big thing is that Jupiter is changing signs into Sagittarius. That's its house. That's its sign. So it's going to be producing a lot. You got a lot of completing things coming. You got a lot of past life stuff coming through. Not that well, how do I say this? Yeah, so like maybe you worked and you were destitute in your last life, so that in this life you just wanted to do it at the first half of your life, and then at this part of your life you were wanting to like receive some benefit, receive the love of your life, receive something, right? Because of something that you've done in your past life. In this next year, those things are going to come about for you. Now, not everybody believes in past lives. Although I don't know why you shouldn't, but I'm not here to change your beliefs. But it's already been scientifically proven. So let's talk about November 1st. So November 1st, we have Venus is going to be moving into Libra, but it is retrograde. So Venus is already retrograde. So it's been in your 11th house of friends. 11th house, so this is friends, this is groups, this is the internet, it has to do with your 10th house, your career, your life purpose, your public life, your accolades. So with it being in the 11th house and it was retrograde in Scorpio, there was some adjustment. There were some things going on. Maybe some people, because I can see people taking advantage of you with money or with like maybe you thought they were your friend and maybe they're not. Yeah, I kind of see that. But that's not for everybody. Okay, so now it's going to move into your 10th house, and if you look here, in Libra. So Venus is moving into your 10th house. So retrogrades are about amending, revising, reworking, reorganizing something. So there's something coming about having to do with love, luck, or money in your 10th house, in your public life, in your life purpose, in your accolades, in the projects that you have. Something is going to be reworked. Something's going to be revised. Something's going to, be reorganized. Something's shifting there. And then on that same day, you have Mercury moving into your 12th house. So Mercury brings a message into your 12th house. Usually if it's in your 12th house, it's probably going to come through a dream, an inspiration, maybe synchronicity. Maybe somebody comes to you and says the specific sentence. I'm seeing that for some of you, where they say the specific word of the specific sentence and you're like, whoa, nobody knows that. Like that. That's what I feel like. But it has to do with your groups, with your 11th house. It's this completion. But also Sagittarius in this house of your 12th house, in this house, Sagittarius is already a positive, optimistic sign. So this message is going to be positive, optimistic, help you complete something having to do with Jupiter. Because if you look, it's right here with Jupiter, right? So they're talking to each other. So Jupiter is going to gift you from the 11th house, from the house of gains, right? This house of gains, this thing that you've been working through in Scorpio for this last year, right? So I think I'm going to take off my jacket. It's getting kind of hot. So where was I? So Mercury's got a message. Then on the 6th is a really important date. So on the 6th, the North Node and the South Node change signs. So the North Node is moving into Cancer and the South Node is moving into your sign, right? And so Cancer is your opposite sign, so that's your 7th house. That's relationships, that's boundaries, that's the people that come in front of you and what you're going to do with them and how is that going to work out and all that stuff, right? And so when it transits, you'll find yourself not being able to do what you were doing and doing more, or opportunity more comes into the North Node, right? And so you're going to find over this next year and a half, over a year and a half, with your North Node being in Cancer in your 7th house, that's why I feel like some of you are on target to meet the love of your life. You're going to have more important people coming into your life. You're going to be busier. You're going to be, busier. You're going to like be more social. Also, could be bigger family. Whatever this is over the next year and a half, you're going to be working, whatever your path is, you're going to be working towards that. What you're going to find is that you're not going to have much time for yourself. Now, you have been working with Saturn and Pluto in this house, in your 1st house. So we've talked about this. You've been learning how to do this. You've been learning how to put boundaries. You've been learning how to do this. So even though you're getting opportunity to be more expanded in your 7th house, you have to incorporate this 1st house of yours. Always making sure that you're okay. Always making sure that it's balanced. Always making sure that where's that boundary. I'm willing to give, but I got to remember I can't give it all. I got to have some too. I can't be depleted. I got to make sure that I meditate, or I go for my walks, or I go work out, or I go to the movies, or I take time for myself. Like, you're going to have to make more of an effort to take care of you, right? That's going to be happening over the next year and a half. So that's happening on the 6th. Then on the 7th, you have this new moon in Scorpio. So the new moon in Scorpio is going to be in your, again, 11th house. So this is the house of gains. This is the house of networking, the internet, groups. So having to do with your 10th house. So there's a new start here. And I always have the new moon, full moon videos. I'll go over each of those signs with you guys later during the month. But there's a new start here. The thing is on this same day, you not only have this new moon, but you have Uranus changing signs. So Uranus is also going to change signs going back into Aries in your 4th house. So the 4th house is about, where's my comfort? How do I feel? What makes me feel happy? What makes me feel safe? What makes me feel secure? Uranus is going to come shift something in there with this new beginning. Okay, so maybe somebody's moving into that space of yours that's like getting closer to you, but they come through your networking friendship stuff, right? Like maybe you met them through groups, or maybe you met them on an internet, but maybe they're moving into this 4th house, into this, like, this is what makes me happy. This is what makes me safe. This is what makes me comfortable, right? Whatever this is, Uranus likes to shock and awe to liberate, to help you feel better. So there's this change, there's this shift, there's this reworking of something for this new moon, okay, for this new beginning. So that's going on the 7th. Then on the 8th, this is when Jupiter moves into Sagittarius, into your 12th house. So on that day, on the 8th, you'll have the moon, you'll have Jupiter, and you'll have Mercury together. And this is all in your 12th house. The 12th house is hidden enemies. So you could have messages about something coming, because you're dealing a lot with your 11th and 10th house. So you could have like enemies being revealed to you. But again, I don't feel like a lot of that, but I do feel like some of you have that, but I don't feel like it's going to devastate you, because you've grown a lot, because you kind of had an idea about this already. But that's not the only thing this house is about. It's about completing other things as well. So Jupiter is going to be in this house in Sagittarius, which it rules this house, it rules the sign. So it's very optimistic. So what it was doing in Scorpio, where you had to sort of be uncomfortable learning the lesson, or have some sort of strenuous thing happen, or have someone maybe even a crisis or something happen for you to learn this lesson in Scorpio. When it moves into Sagittarius, it's a very different energy. This is more optimistic. It's lighter. It doesn't mean that it's not as, it's still quality, right? It doesn't have to come through trauma. It doesn't have to come through strenuous something. It's going to be much easier. So for the next year, you're going to be dealing with stuff like that. Okay. So that happens on the 8th. Then on the 16th, Mars moves into your third house. So Mars moving into your third house, it's leaving Aquarius into your third house where Neptune is there. The sun's going to be there on that day. There, and Chiron's in there. So there is this reworking where Neptune's been retrograde, but Mars is coming to give you energy to either, I think, so some of you may be dealing with siblings, co-workers, neighbors. You are dealing with a lot of people in that 11th house, groups of some sort, but in the third house, it's specifically neighbors and co-workers and siblings and media, communication of some sort. So if your job's communication, when Mars moves in there, it's going to give you energy. It's going to give you the way to give your boundaries. It's about action, action, action. And so Mars moving into there, but it's got to behave like it's got to play by Pisces rules. So it's got to be where, yes, I'm getting what I want, but I also see where they can get what they want, right? So that could be happening. Mars and Neptune are going to be speaking to each other later in the month. And so you can really get to, depends on the octave, depends on what the aspect that you have, where you can either get into this martyrism, like, or this, you can make them both work together and you get energized and you figure out a way to do it where everybody gets what they want, but it doesn't take much from you. And you become bigger in this. Yeah. So, on that same day, on the 16th, Venus goes direct. So Venus going direct, again, is in your 10th house. This is your house of public eye, of your life purpose, of, public eye, career, life purpose. And so when Venus goes direct, whatever you've been working on is now going to sort of begin to resolve, and it's going to produce. So Venus wants to produce in this house of yours. So new contracts, more money, new position, all of this stuff gets handed to you. So that's happening on the 16th. Then on the 17th, Mercury retrogrades. So Mercury retrograding in your 12th house, I would say during this retrograde, just be very careful as to what you think you hear. Okay? Because somebody may say something to you and you took it the wrong way. So to work within this retrograde, Mercury retrograde, because Mercury is the processor, he's the messenger, but he's going to be retrograde, so it's reworking, reorganizing. Maybe it's a different understanding about something. Maybe you got one dream and then you get another dream and you're like, oh no, I misconstrued this, it's this, right? But it's also where maybe somebody's talking to you and you took it the wrong way. So just be very careful during this Mercury retrograde. You are going to, at that time, have Jupiter. So Jupiter is really teaching you, helping you grow this house. Maybe there's a connection between you and the spiritual, the occult. Maybe you're trying to learn something in this, and you'll be doing this for the next year. So that's on the 17th. Then on the 19th, you have this Grand Water Trine. So this Grand Water Trine has to do with the Sun in your 11th, Chiron in your 3rd, and the North Node in your 7th. So it has to do with relationships, has to do with groups, and it has to do with the way that you're handling, the way that you're communicating to these groups and your relationship. It is kind of now time to put your money where your mouth is, Cappy. So divinely guided gifts, that's what a grand water trine means. A divinely guided gift being brought to you to help you feel better, happy, fulfilled, right? So this is a gift being brought to you. So there's an opportunity here for this to happen where you can say what you want. Chiron is that old wound, and having to do with how you deal with groups, but also having to do with how you deal with relationships, okay? So that's on the 19th. Then on the 22nd, you have this full moon, or 23rd. It kind of depends on where you are in the world. For me, it's the 23rd. So on the 23rd, could be, yeah, 22nd, sorry, 23rd, 22nd or 23rd. But on the 23rd, you have this full moon in Gemini. So the full moon in Gemini is in your 6th house. So I feel like, because this is your daily activity, health and well-being, with this full moon, something's going to be shown to you. It's going to clarify something. It's going to clear something up, having to do with your schedule, having to do with the way that you work things, having to do with how your lifestyle is. You're going to have to let go of something or someone so that you can move forward, right? Because this is your 12th house and your 6th house. So something comes through to help you see, to change this schedule of yours, change this way that you're doing things, okay? Maybe taking better care of yourself. So that's on the 22nd. But again, I have my full moon, new moon videos. I'll explain more at that time. Then on the 24th or 25th, depending on where you live in the world, we are going to have this, on the 25th, we have Neptune changing direction. So it is now going to be direct. Instead of retrograde, it is now going to be direct. Again, that's in your 4th house. So people are going to be on the forefront for you. Groups, friends, family. I see you more out there. You're having to deal with this, but you're really having to put your money where your mouth is. All these things that you said you were going to do, all these boundaries you said you're keeping, it is now time to do that. It is now time to put into practice what you said you weren't doing, what you said you're going to do, right? So when Neptune and Mars are close together, like they're going to be close together here, where they're conjunct, where they're talking to each other, if you don't have this energy balance, because they're not two planets that like to be together, they don't really communicate well together. Like they do, but they don't listen to each other. Because Mars is about me. Neptune is about we. Mars likes direct. Neptune wants illusion, you know. So these two working together, like if it was in a different house, it could be about like fame, illusion, like you could direct that Mars energy into fame, direct that Mars energy into the bigger public life, direct that Mars energy. It being in your 3rd house, you're going to have to really, really balance this, because you can get into that self-insecurity, that self-doubt, just be sure to balance this together, because they can be good together. If you're working in the media, if you're working like with communications, if you're a public speaker, this can turn you into like the bigger public speaker, more clients, a better venue, you know, things like that. Like you can do that if you're working in balance with this, right? Because it's Neptune wants to make you bigger. Mars will give you the action to do it. So you can work together, but just be careful not to become that self-doubting, insecure, almost kind of like poor me thing, okay? So that's going to round out the end of the month. So let's shuffle your, I did shuffle your cards before, but let's shuffle them really quickly. I'll pull a couple of cards. I don't do a full reading on this video, but I will next month, whoever has the most viewed video. I mean, yeah, whose ever sign is most viewed, the video. I need to find a better way to say that. Okay, so let's see. All right, so in your first position, let's see what's coming up in November. You have the 9 of Cups. So I kind of see this celebration with family, with friends, bonding, having a good time. It is November. We do have Thanksgiving here in America. So, you know, I do see a lot of you celebrating, bonding, filling those cups, having a good time. You're in a good mood. Things are happening. You're dealing with a lot of people. I feel a lot of people that y'all are going to be dealing with. So just remember to keep your boundaries. Because I know people they don't take advantage of you because you do it. You just free and willingly give it. But remember, you have boundaries and you've been working for this for a while. So don't let somebody go over your boundaries. Now, because you're so loving, you just give it all. All right, so Spirit's advice in this situation, you have the Death card. So your life is changing. I kind of see that with the North Node, South Node. I see that with Jupiter. I see that all over. So the Death card is all about letting go of the past, releasing the past, new beginnings, out with the old, in with the new. I see that with this new bonding, you're going to have some new relationships. Same people, a lot of them, new relationships, next level, understanding, having this people. Like, I feel like a lot of you realize I did clear some good people. I did clear some people out, and I do have some good people around me, and I'm really, really, really happy about that. That's what I'm seeing, okay? So, where does this end? At the end of the November, we have the Three of Wands. So the Three of Wands is all about waiting for your ship to come in. It's all about seeing the better space, seeing it coming, seeing your manifestations coming. You know, where you get that feeling and then people are talking and you're like, oh yeah, it's coming. I can feel it. Like, this person said this, or I saw this and this. Like, that's what I'm feeling. But what Spirit always says with this card is you don't have to wait. You can sort of lean into it. You can sort of put some energy into it. And it won't take as long. But you are a Capricorn, so even though you know how to move fast, you don't really like to move fast unless you know all the steps. So if you want to know all the steps, get this stuff coming faster, put some research in it. Put some energy into it, right? But I feel like you'll be moving forward with a lot of people. I feel like you'll have a new lifestyle coming. Yeah, that's what I feel. So my gorgeous ones, have a wonderful, wonderful month. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. I love you, love you, love you. Bye.